Now, democratic, prosperous, fairer. That's the vision of Scotland, laid out in a white paper today. 200-page document billed as the most detailed blueprint for the independence of a country ever published. 650 questions are addressed, from childcare to pensions, nuclear weapons to oil. But the crucial one still to be answered: will the Scots buy it next September? In a moment, we'll be asking Scotland's First Minister, Alex Salmond. But first, our political editor, Gary Gibbon, has this.
Scottish nationalists have made some serious adjustments to their cause in recent years. The pro-Euro, anti-monarchy party now wants to keep the pound and the Queen. Today, it finalised its whole offer to Scottish voters ahead of next September's referendum on independence.
This white paper is the most detailed blueprint that any people have ever been offered anywhere in the world as a basis for becoming an independent country. It puts beyond doubt that an independent Scotland would start from a position of strength.
The Scottish Government's white paper says an independent Scotland would keep the pound and enter a currency union with the rest of the United Kingdom. It says it would join the EU and join NATO and get rid of Trident submarines from Scotland by 2020. Alex Salmond was asked how he could be so sure the rest of the United Kingdom would link up in a currency union with an independent Scotland, when George Osborne and many others had said they wouldn't allow it.
The Bank of England sterling is part of the assets. They're as much Scotland's assets as London's assets. They're certainly not George Osborne's assets. We put forward in this paper our willingness to accept liabilities. We also are entitled to a share of assets.
If you have a currency union, you need both sides, which would then be foreign countries, to agree in principle that they would have a veto over each other's tax, spending and borrowing. That's what you've got in the Eurozone. And you've also got to agree the terms and conditions, how much variation you could have between the two countries. Now, I can't see why either side would want to enter into a straitjacket like that.
The document also throws in some SNP manifesto commitments for the first post-independence election to a Scottish Parliament. Free childcare for all children over one, no tax rises, the minimum wage up in line with inflation, and the so-called bedroom tax abolished. Last week, the Independent Institute for Fiscal Studies talked about Scotland growing older and poorer. Alex Salmond's document painted a very different picture.
Page 75, we give the projections for the first year of independence, and what these show in terms of our lower, better relative position in the UK in 2016-17, that the advantage for each Scot would be £600, up to £600.
North-east of Glasgow, Cumbernauld, a Labour stronghold for years, where voters flirted with the SNP in the Scottish Parliament elections 2 years ago. Alex Salmond hopes reassurance on the risks of independence and support for a more generous welfare state will help to lure voters here to make the big leap to supporting independence. Up against Alex Salmond's 650 pages putting the case for independence, the UK government's already published 800 pages, 8 booklets, still more to come, putting the case against independence. Again and again, assertions that are made in here about how independence will work are challenged in here. This battle could come down to a question of credibility. Which account do you trust? Which do you most fear? And how much do you have to lose?
I think that anybody that promises them anything that's a bit better than what they've got now will definitely do that. So I see we'll pick up a lot of yes votes from that, especially 16, 17-year-olds, because they've got round about this estate practically nothing.
Just feel as if I've been left in the scrap heap with England all the time. Look, all the good jobs are down there. All the good jobs are in England.
Alex Salmond says you're going to be much better off if you vote for independence and vote SNP. Do you believe him?
Aye.
Do you think you'll vote for independence come the day?
I don't know yet. I'll have to consider. But how the heck can you read all that?
Well, he's hoping you'll have a look at it.
It takes you time, and I'm not going to waste my time, because it contradicts, one bit contradicts another.
You wouldn't think it from the definitive language used in this document, but it's subject to negotiation with NATO, with the European Union and with the Westminster, where all the main parties are determined to drown out Alex Salmond's retail offers to voters with stark messages about the risks of Scotland going it alone.